This morning, investigators are sharing new information about the shooting at the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention headquarters in DeKalb County. They say the shooter and an officer are dead, and 92 children who had to shelter in place during all of the violence are safe. We have team coverage this morning with Atlanta News First reporter Sarah Hammond live at the DeKalb County Police headquarters. But we start now with Atlanta News First anchor Rick Folbaum live outside of the CDC. And Rick, we've just learned more about the accused shooter in this case.
That's right, Megan. We are hearing from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation, which is the lead agency investigating this event, and they have given us a name. This is the first time we're hearing this. The name of Patrick Joseph White, 30 years old, of Kennesaw, Georgia. Apparently, this is the man who came here to the CDC headquarters and fired directly at the building yesterday afternoon. Now, walking around this morning, you would never know that there was so much violence and horror that unfolded here. Really, aside from some crime scene tape, no sign of the tragic events. The CVS pharmacy, very quiet, very few people walking around. But take a look at how different things were last night at around 5 when police engaged with this gunman who had already opened fire on the CDC headquarters building, leading to this entire area being placed on a lockdown. Listen to this man who works at the CDC.
I was sitting at the light waiting for it to get green. I noticed a gentleman sort of walking on the sidewalk with what I thought looked like fishing gear at first. And then he sort of made a left, walked up a couple of steps in front of CVS, put his backpack down. That's when I realized that they were, I think I saw 2 rifles, but I can't be certain. But by the time, just before the light went green, he raised the rifle sort of at an angle and started firing into CDC's campus.
And you can see some of the damage that was done as we push in tight there on the outside of the building. You can see bullet marks on the side of the CDC. By my count, at least a dozen bullets fired directly at that building. Again, there was a shootout with police officers. David Rose, the DeKalb County police officer, was tragically struck and killed, as was the suspect here, whose body was found on the second floor of the CVS just over my shoulder. There are reports that perhaps the shooter was disgruntled, upset with the CDC over the COVID-19 vaccine. That has not yet been confirmed. But again, a tragedy unfolding here on the streets of DeKalb County, right outside the CDC, resulting in the death of a DeKalb County police officer. And that's where we turn now to my colleague Sarah Hammond, who's outside DeKalb County Police headquarters with the latest on that. Sarah.
That's right. The shooting last night claimed the life of 33-year-old Officer David Rose of the DeKalb County Police Department. He was responding to that report of an active shooter near the CDC. When he arrived, he was almost immediately shot, rushed to Emory Hospital, where he later died. Now, we saw members of the DeKalb County Police Department and fire departments earlier this morning lowering flags to half-staff to honor Officer Rose. The 33-year-old joined the DeKalb County Police Academy in September of last year and graduated this past March. Before joining the department, Officer Rose served as a Marine for 4 years, which included a deployment to Afghanistan. The department says his life was defined by service, both to his country and to the people of DeKalb County. Rose leaves behind a wife and 3 children, one not yet born.
Today is a very dark day in DeKalb County as we stand before you during the loss of one of our beloved officers. This evening there is a wife without a husband. There are 3 children, one unborn without a father. There is a mother and a father, as well as siblings, who also share in this traumatic loss.
Details about funeral services will be released at a later date as Officer Rose's family and his fellow police officers continue to mourn his death after he was killed while responding to that scene. A response from law enforcement that Atlanta police credit with no civilians getting injured in this shooting. Live from the DeKalb County Police Department headquarters, Sarah Hammond for Atlanta News First. Rick, back to you.
All right, Sarah, and our condolences, of course, to the officer's family and colleagues at the DeKalb County Police Department. Just a tragic turn of events here. Again, the late breaking news from the Georgia Bureau of Investigation. The shooter's name, Patrick Joseph White, 30 years old, of Kennesaw, Georgia. The GBI says their investigation, Megan, is active and ongoing. Back to you.
And Rick, it's incredible no one else was injured when we see the bullet holes in those windows at the CDC you just showed us. Thanks to Rick and Sarah for the latest.
True.
Governor Brian Kemp issued a statement following the shooting, saying in part, quote, "Twice this week, deranged criminals have targeted innocent Georgians. Each time, brave first responders rush toward the danger to subdue the shooter and save lives, reminding us of just how crucial they are. We ask that you join us in holding them in our prayers, along with those harmed this evening near the CDC Center." Senator Raphael Warnock also weighing in, saying in part, "I am devastated that our community is facing yet another tragedy of gun violence." Be sure to download the free Atlanta News First app for all of the developing updates as we learn more about this shooting, and we will send them directly to your phone.